Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. This is going to be Comments Episode 9. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you like it, hit the notification bell. Leave more comments. We'll do more videos just like this. And I really appreciate comments that have sources of information for whatever information it is that you're trying to share. Alright, so let's just get into it. So in response to my Comments Episode 8 video, Tyler Cragen says, someone recorded the Oklahoma-Kansas devotional. This is their channel link, and then there's a link there. So if you want to check that out, you can. I may not put that link in this video just because I don't know if that was meant to be recorded, just like General Conference when they give that disclaimer about distributing the material and the content without written consent. So I don't know. I don't know anything about how they did this or whatever. But I don't. Whatever. You can go to that video and do that. But thank you, Tyler. We have another person. I don't want to say the name just because I don't want to embarrass anybody. They were talking about changes in the temple. I don't want to get too specific with like temple changes. But if you've been to the temple, over the last, I don't know, 5 years, I don't know when all the changes happened because there was like a long stretch of time that I hadn't gone to the temple. We just couldn't find time for it. I know that's a lame excuse, but it was kind of hard finding people to babysit and have things work out. But yeah, there's been changes in the temple endowment. President Nelson has addressed that it's an ongoing process, and it's never been exactly the same from when it was first presented. But with a certain change that happened, this person's putting, I believe it's because soon enough we'll be in Zion, the New Jerusalem, and I think you could be right. I've watched some other YouTubers. There was one lady that did a really good video. She kind of touched on this specifically. Just how with like the change, it's like with Hebrew tradition, when a marriage is coming up, they do this thing, and it's to indicate that you're invited to the marriage. So I think it's a good theory. I'm not going to put all my chips on that, but um, I think that these temple changes are important. Some of it may just be refinement, but other parts may be because we're approaching that time, and they really do have significance. Even though we're performing that work for the dead, and well, I guess some people they're doing it for themselves for the first time. So it's just interesting to note. So I appreciate your comment. Um, in response to my holiday lights hack video, Donna Crimmins says, "How much were the lights? You need a drone view." Yeah, I need a drone. I need a microphone instead of just using my crappy computer um, microphone and all that. I could probably use a GoPro as well. We'll see what happens this year for Christmas. Probably not much for me and my wife. Um, we're having to sell our cows actually, so that we can have some money for Christmas. But it's not really that big of a deal because it's so easy just to get new calves. They're only like $50 if you buy a bottle calf, and then it takes a little bit of money to raise them. You got to get milk replacer. That's a bag will go all the way until they're weaned, and it's like $80, and then buy grain and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys like that video. I'm really big into the holidays. In fact, we have our Christmas we have our Christmas stuff up already, and I know that there's probably some people watching this that are just screaming, because you hate the people that get all excited about Christmas so early. Um, but believe me, we appreciate all the holidays, including Halloween and Thanksgiving. And it's just, we're not big Halloween people. It seems like every year that goes by, it just I don't like some of the trends. Like just the world is getting darker, and as such, it feels like the celebration of Halloween is getting more dark. And I don't really like going to Spirit Halloween, the Halloween store, just because there's really questionable masks and costumes that are just like I don't enjoy that stuff. But anyway, yeah, we are doing these lights around the entire pasture um, to be in the holiday spirit. We're gonna keep their orange and white, and they're probably gonna be up until the week of Thanksgiving, and probably on that Monday we'll switch it over to green, red, and white. Um, So anyway, but the lights, these solar lights, you can buy them at Walmart. They still, at least the Walmarts around here, they still have them in stock in the garden section, and they're only 99 cents. So if you have a yard, you can just buy, I don't know, 20 of them, maybe something like that. Put it around the perimeter of the yard, um, and it just makes for a really good light display. But it looks amazing if you have a pasture like mine and like fencing that goes all the way around the property. It looks really good. In response to my Elder Golden Amos 3:7 Joseph Smith translation Second Coming video, Kathy Price says 2017 is probably a little too early. I feel it began in 2020 to 2021. Um, I'm assuming you're talking. I can't remember everything that I say in my videos, but I'm assuming you're probably talking about the tribulation period, most likely. And yeah, what the heck do I know? I don't know, but I do feel like 2017 was a pretty special year. There's a lot of significant things that seemed to happen that year, and then immediately after that year, including President Nelson becoming the prophet. So thanks for your comment. In response to my Oklahoma and Kansas member devotional video, Jared Tachio says, um, Wood Church, Book of Mormon, in countries, we're in the last days. Yeah, yeah, we definitely are. Um, and we need to get the Book of Mormon out there. It's the key. It's the main tool that we're using for the harvest. It's the way in this dispensation that we're um, harvesting souls and bringing people to the covenant path. In response to the same video, he also says, "We know all things in news is crap, and good news. We in the last days." I think I think about your video. Thank you. Uh, a lot of news I think is kind of garbage, or it's meant to manipulate you. But I do think that mainstream, they still do have some good um, journalism that they do as far as like neutral things, reporting things that happen, but they do try and skew things. And so that's where I think, just like President Nelson said in regards to 24-hour news cycles, um, that we need to use the spirit. We need to use the spirit to guide us and in order to receive pure truth, pure revelation. So, yeah. In response to comments, episode 8, Arith Litharaga Olascoaga says, Constantine accepted the reality that his empire became Christian after centuries of persecution. He didn't impose it. Yeah, I'm not really big on Roman history, but I do believe that he officially switched it over to Christianity. Yeah, about as far as like imposing it, I don't know much about that. I'll just take your word for it. You probably know more. In response to my 10 Lost Tribes tracing the dispersion Europe, um, he also says, it's true. Spanish speakers in the New World have a lot more loan words from English. Europe is basically a Tower of Babel, language-wise. Um, Europe is basically a Tower of Babel language-wise. You mean just like in regards to how similar they are because of the Indo-European language tree? Um, yeah, I could see that. Um, the Americas have only English, French, Spanish, and Portuguese. Yes, correct. Um, in response to the same video, he also says in Uzbekistan, a city is named Samarkand, that in the local language translates as City of Samaria. That's interesting, and it doesn't surprise me. Um, if I remember when I was looking at the map in that video, the 10 Lost Tribes tracing the dispersion Europe, I believe Uzbekistan was right in the way. Let me just look at it really quick. I'm just going to look at Europe, pull up Google Maps. Sorry that you can't see it. You'll have to trust me what I'm seeing, what I'm saying. Um, Uzbekistan. Well, it's not in that passage between the Black and the Caspian Sea, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went through there, just like the video said, and then maybe some of them went eastward to Uzbekistan, or maybe before they went through that pass, um, maybe some of them went eastward and went to Uzbekistan, and that would make sense because we know that, or it would seem that some of them went eastward into Afghanistan, and Afghanistan um, borders Uzbekistan. That's where the Pashtuns are. Go check out my 10 Lost Tribes playlist. We talk about that. So very good, very good, very interesting. In response to my 4 of 31, the Sister Wendy Nelson Challenge, ministering, Vicky Daniels says, "Hey, I just discovered your channel. Terrific. Have you come across the Two Brothers or the Two LDS Archives, Zion Oriented? You may really enjoy being part of the Discord group. Heart, heart." Yeah, well, welcome to the channel. I hope that I put out good information. It may be in conflict with what Two LDS Archives puts out, but I have watched a lot of his videos, and I tend not to agree. I think he's put in a lot of effort, and I can understand why he thinks the way he does, but I just have a different interpretation. I haven't heard of the Two Brothers, but maybe I'll check that out at some point. So, it's okay to disagree. I tend to not say that things are facts unless like a prophet actually says it. And I know that he has quotes and stuff like that, but again, a lot of it comes down to how you interpret things, and if you look at the entire scope of whatever the topic is. When I do my research, I really like to tie it into the church website because I'm looking for Ensign articles, I'm looking for Bible dictionary, I'm looking for just stuff, manuals, church manuals, because I know that those things have been approved of by some general authority. They don't just like print those out by someone just like puts it together. They're like, okay, you know a lot, so just put that together. No, I'm pretty sure that it goes through a review process. So I try my best to use scriptures, look at the footnotes, look at the church website, at the institute manuals, seminary manuals, all the different manuals that there are, as well as Ensign articles, and on and on and on and on. And we have some pretty major differences in opinion. He, he's one that believes that there is a group of 10 lost tribes that are still in a homogenous group, and they're hidden somewhere inside the earth or on the earth, or whatever. I actually don't know exactly where he thinks that they are. I've seen maybe like I don't know how many videos, somewhere between 5 and 10, and I'm going to keep watching his channel because I want to keep an open mind, but um, I can't really get on board with some of the things that he talks about, but that's okay. I appreciate the effort that he puts into his channel. In response to that, Kathy Price says, "I love those guys, extremely thorough, using scriptures, leaders, quotes, etc. Very little speculation, like most LDS channels." And yeah, that is a problem, speculation. I hope that I don't do that too much. I try not to. Like I said, I just have to go off of my own study and what I'm seeing. But a lot of it comes down to interpretation. And, I'm not going to, I try and do the same thing, but I think there's different interpretations for scriptures. And I think you have to just amass the evidence through, like I said, going through footnotes, because the footnotes in the scriptures, those were put together by general authorities and others, but primarily Bruce R. McConkie was involved, Thomas S. Monson, Boyd K. Packer. So the footnotes in the scriptures are very important, and they clarify, I think, what a lot of scriptures are actually saying when we're trying to figure out like what does this mean, or what is this referring to. So whatever. But hopefully you like my channel, but it's not going to be very similar, I don't think, to their theories that they put forward. I'm going to do a video on the 144,000. That's going to be another one that we probably disagree on. Um, but it's not a big deal because these things are not, they're not a matter of salvation. They are important. They are part of our religion. But it's not something to like really lose sleep over. It's just, I think we just all got to do the best that we can, use the spirit, and then do our study, and then whatever. But most importantly, listen to, the living prophets, um, and what they're directing us to do now. And you already know that. In response to my elders Gong and Bednar, Islam, 10 Lost Tribes, Afghanistan video, Jared Tachio says, I saw it on news then. Yeah, I was talking about in that video. If you haven't seen it, I was talking about um, the evacuation of Afghans outside, leaving Afghanistan to flee the Taliban. He also says in another comment, earthquakes, coup in Haiti, the last days crime in cities, China is ready for war. Yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on. He says in another comment, one Jewish man in Afghanistan, he's staying in the country. Um, Interesting. I haven't heard that story, but that's interesting. He also says in another comment, Afghanistan is a sad country. All people are leaving. Yeah, it's a sad situation, but the part about people leaving, I think, is significant, and I think the Lord has His hand in that. In that video, I covered how there's a bunch of them that are coming to Utah. There's a bunch of them that are going to British Commonwealth nations. So I think it's significant. Before I started studying this, I just would have been like, more refugees, and it's sad. I want people to be able to stay in their own country, um, but we have to have compassion. But I wouldn't have like really looked at it more than that. But now studying the 10 Lost Tribes and these pockets of people throughout the world that have claims that they descend through Israel, and some of them have really valid claims that are actually accepted by rabbis in Israel, including the Pashtuns of Afghanistan. Others not so much, but they still have some substance there. Um, that's what I'm studying because I think it's really important. And I have a lot more of stuff to share and research and put on YouTube, so stay tuned. In response to the same video, Rachel C. Zumaya says, thanks for the shout out. Ha ha ha, with tears. Um, and then two little white smiley faces. Like that. Um, no problem. I'm really glad that you shared that. Rachel shared it on this group that we're both in on Facebook, that talks about the second coming. I saw that. I wanted to do a video about it right away, but I couldn't get to it until today. But I'm so glad that she did, because I think that our general authorities are trying to get us to put aside all prejudice, misconceptions about Islam, because these people are coming here. And I think the Lord probably has a hand in that. Some of them, probably not the majority, but some of them may actually convert to the church. And I hope they do. Or maybe their children will as they grow up here in America or in Australia or the UK or Canada or whatever. Um, she says, I truly believe that God preserved the scattered Israelites in the Muslim countries by inspiring Muhammad and the Islamic religion. It isn't the full truth, but it had truth, and God gave it to them for a reason to preserve that seed. I think so too. I think Islam is special. It's not. They don't have, you know, the gospel. But they are, I think, spiritually, they have been given light. We know that the Lord gives light to all nations, to varying degrees. Um, you know, I've watched a lot of stuff about Islam. I've watched, like, for example, when you perform the Hajj, which is when you're supposed to, at least once in your lifetime, if you're able to, go to Saudi Arabia, go to Mecca, and do all the rituals that they do there, including circling the Kaaba, which is the black, that black uh, building that they believe that Abraham built. But they do like all these other things. You should watch some documentaries about that. But when you watch it, you can tell that it is very. I feel like it's holy in a way. it's special, and they do have a lot of spiritualism to them, and it's a related religion, and the Lord works in mysterious ways. Um, it may be that just like their time isn't now in this mortal life, or it may be for just like some of them, but um, maybe Muhammad really was a prophet that brought them kind of like a lower law, and then over time, uh, you know, just different things were added to the religion. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that too much, but I think there is something special about them. Uh, it is said that they are descended from Ishmael, which was Abraham's son that he had with Hagar, which was Sarah's handmaiden. So they are part of the family. They're part of the family. Um, Kathy Price, in response to my 4 of 31, the Sister Wendy Nelson Challenge ministering, says, also need the men to do their ministering. Yeah, we haven't had the men or women at our house in years. Sad. Yeah, that is sad. I think there's too many members of the church that are just asleep. They just they don't understand the importance of what we're doing, or they do, but like not fully. And it's really important to do our ministry. It's critical. Some people, I don't feel like I depend on that. But I don't know. Maybe a ministering brother or sister might do something for me and my family that I didn't know would be really important. But there are people that really do need it. They just need that human connection, and they need that um, those blessings that can come through ministering. So I'm sorry to hear that, but yeah, both men and women, they both need to do it for sure. In response to my holiday lights hack, Monty Michelle Wilkinson says, great holiday lights hack. We may have to try that. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. I'm sorry, you can't really get a sense of it in the video very well, but in person, it looks like really good. I was worried that the cellophane might kind of like dim the light, and so like you'd have like the lights without cellophane that would be brighter, and the lights with cellophane that would be dimmer. But that's not the case at all. It like worked perfectly. So, and you can get any color that you need. You buy one roll that's 100 feet long; it'll last you for life. Um, we also like to use solar lights as an emergency preparedness hack. Good idea. Good idea. If the power goes out, pop the top off and bring them indoors. Place all around for enough light in the house. Safe for children to carry. Yeah, they're so simple and they're so cheap. And yeah, for sure. That is a good hack. Thank you. All right, that concludes this episode. Thank you all for your comments. I really like interacting with you. I'd like to hear your ideas. I am an open person. I do have my beliefs, but I am open to other ideas, and just making sure that that my ideas are solid. And if they're not, then I need to adjust and accommodate whatever the truth is and whatever the better ideas are. So appreciate it. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, hit the notification bell, leave more comments. I'll bring it up in future comments episodes, and I'll talk to you guys later.